Hey guys, this is Thomas over here at nursemoneytalk.com. So I've gotten a couple of questions here and there over just kind of like this idea or this being able to work from home as a nurse, but specifically though for new nurses. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that, and also at the end I'm going to give you guys a couple of kind of like different jobs or specialties that you should consider if you are wanting to work from home as a nurse. Before I get into that, if you're not already subscribed, I want to go ahead and invite you to, you already know what to do, hit that subscribe button. On this channel, I talk about all things related to nurses. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I want to say is that I get why working from home has become kind of like this thing, especially after the situation with the whole pandemic deal. And so now it's like seems like there's more of a, because work from home was always there, but now there's kind of like this resurgence of like this interest in working from home. And I get it for a lot of good things, right? Like it gives you some flexibility in terms of maybe some hours, maybe like in terms of even where you can live while you're working whatever job. So if you think about the nurses who have like the compact license and whatnot, so you could be in one state, but you're still licensed and able to work in another state without really having been to that state or without really having to constantly visit that state. If your employer is close, it can save in terms of commute as well. And I think there can be this greater work-life balance that comes with actually working from home. The issue with that, especially for the new nurse who is wanting to get a work from home job, is that it's going to be hard. There's going to be a lot of challenges if that's what you're wanting to do in general. I think there's going to be some challenges for all nurses, but I think it's going to be more pronounced for the new nurse. The first thing to point out with that is that while I have seen and heard some new, the new nurse who was able to land a work from home job, in general, it's going to be kind of challenging or kind of to very challenging for you as a new nurse to be able to get a work from home job. And part of that is it's kind of like a lot of different factors coming into play. The first one being that there's really not a whole lot of work from home jobs out there, besides the fact that there's a lot of employers that are really now pushing back on this working from home thing, working from home idea, I should say. But the thing is that nursing in and of itself doesn't really lend itself very well to working from home, because a lot of nursing, or most or vast majority even, is heavily patient-centered related, and really you just can't really work from home doing that, at least well as of yet, if at all. And so you have a situation where there's not a whole lot of jobs out there. And then the other thing is that even for the few jobs that are out there, a lot of them, or most if not all of them even, really want, or at least would desire or prefer, experience. So the nurse who has some kind of experience before applying. So you can then start seeing how that would then make it really tough for the new nurse to be able to get those jobs, because either the employer, the person who placed the job itself, would not be interested in a new nurse for that position, or a new nurse places in that application and you have other nurses who are placing in for those few positions and they have experience, which means that in all likelihood they're going to get a leg up in terms of getting that position when compared to the new nurse. The other thing, if everything I said really wasn't bad enough, is that for the few opportunities of working from home that are out there. So I immediately think of like maybe like your nurse case manager or like your nurse educator. What you will see from a lot of those positions is that they're requiring either some kind of certification or they're requiring you to get like more education. So if you think about, for instance, the situation of the nurse educator, while you can get like some clinical adjunct positions that are, so with just the BSN, and you can do as an adjunct like clinical, maybe even for some places do like labs and whatnot. If you're wanting to really be faculty, you really need a master's, and even some of these like kind of like these programs, they're pushing hardcore, if not now requiring the PhD or the DNP nurse. And so you can then start kind of seeing how a lot of these things ends up making it a very challenging kind of environment for the new nurse to be able to get that coveted work from home job. So does that mean as the new nurse that you don't have a shot, or that there's no way you will be able to get that work from home job? Well, no, of course not, because if you remember from the very beginning, I've said before that I've seen it happen, or that I've heard of it happening as well. It is just that it's one of those things where you're going to have to kind of go in with more or less a plan, right? So you already know that you want to work from home. And so then what I would encourage you then is to then figure out what is the job, that the nursing job that you would like to do, that would then give you the opportunity to be able to do it from home. So you can go to like nursemoneytalk.com/jobs. Link is also in the descriptions below. And so then check out the work from home nursing jobs that are posted on the job board, and then just kind of start getting an idea of what options are even available to you. And then once you figure out what specialty you would like to do, then at that point, what you should do is then figure out, okay, what is it going to take for me to be able to go do that? What do I have to do extra? What certifications do I need? What extra education do I need for me to be able to do that job? So at the beginning, I promised you some work from home nursing jobs to just kind of think about. So this isn't exactly what I would call like an exhaustive list. I do think that there are plenty of other options out there. Well, maybe not plenty, but there are more options out there in terms of nursing positions or nursing specialties or jobs or whatnot that you can do from home. And what you will see with a couple of these jobs that I'm going to list out is that when you think of a nurse, some of these jobs aren't going to immediately scream out right away like, oh, this is a job a nurse can do. But as you think about it, you can see how like this position or a company hiring for or wanting this position would either prefer or want a nurse in that position, or you can see how being a nurse can lend itself well to the job. So the first one being, of course, a nurse educator. So that one is kind of a given. You're educating nurses, so it would make sense that they would want a licensed nurse teaching other potential soon-to-be licensed nurses. Like another position could be like a nurse case manager, a utilization review nurse. You could consider something like a legal nurse consultant, a health coach, which doesn't immediately scream a nurse. And there's plenty of people who are going around calling themselves a health coach without really any like medical background. And you as the nurse with, you have a healthcare training, you can then leverage your licensure and your credentials to give you more credibility if you were to go out and try to be a health coach. The other one, which many nurses don't think about this, would be like a freelance nurse writer. This could also fall under the same category of just being a freelance writer in general, or freelance health writer. And one of the nice things about being a freelance writer is that with your credentialing, with your education, especially if you pivot more towards something that is more healthcare or medical related, you can see how that gives you so much more credibility in terms of being able to, like I said, leverage your credentialing, your licensure to be able to command a higher premium, because you will be qualified, in some instances more than qualified, to be able to write articles on those health related topics. So let me know what you think in the comment sections below. Are you interested in a work from home job? And if so, which job are you interested in, or which job do you wish you could do from home? Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you very soon in that next one.